Hi everyone, so we have a viewer named Nilton that asked if I would record the sounds of the alphabet. Now I did put the lowercase letters, not the capital letters, on each one, and with the vowel sounds, I am just saying they're short sound because the sound that a vowel makes when it's long is the name of the letter of the vowel. So we have A, apple, A, B, Ben, B, C, corn, K, D, David, D, E, elm, E, F, field, F, G, gobble, G. G, gobble, G. H, help, I, itchy, I, J, jack, J. K, kick, K. L, long, ul. M, mit, m. N, knit, n. O, on, ah. P, pack, p. Q, quit, qua. Now the Q, it says qua. The KW sound. So it has two sounds. R, rake, S, sit, s. T, tick, t. U, up, V, vow, v. W, wish, w. X, tax, whoops. X, tax, x. Y, U, y. Z, zoo, z. Now let's talk about the X sound. This makes the k s sound, and you will find this sound in the middle of words or at the end of words. But if you see an X at the beginning of a word, it will make the z sound. So, and oftentimes when you're just speaking regular language, you will not see X at the beginning of a word, except for xylophone. That's unusual, it's an instrument, but most of the time you will see this in science and in the medical field, but not your typical language that you'd be speaking. So, and that's really confusing to children when they use X as xylophone for an example and they don't explain why. So, but it will make the x sound, k, s. So two different sounds on that. Also, when you have the C for corn, it could say the hard s sound, or it says the soft s sound. And that would, if it's followed by an E, I, or Y. Same with the G, it will say G if it's followed by an O, A, or a U, but it will say J if it's followed by an E, I, or a Y. So with that, now if we go over here, we're gonna talk about accented and non-accented syllables. With A's, you have to be really careful with that. So if you have an open A, there will be lots of open A's that will be at the end of words, and it will always be unaccented. And almost always. You probably should always say almost always. So, but we have lots of open A's in the middle of words, and that's where you will find this in multi-syllable words. And if it's accented, it will say bay. If this one is accented, it will say ban. And now this could be in multi-syllable words, or it could be its very own word, but if it's accented, it will say it's short sound. These, when they are not accented, it will always go to schwa. And this will say bun. Ba, bun. And now we have our unit syllables that say ball. This will say ah. And we also have our unit syllable in the middle of words, also, ah. Now, when you have B's and I's, this will not do the same thing as the A's. Now, we do have lots of E's that do go to schwa, but you can hear them, and I don't teach it that way because most of the time, these will say, if you have an open E, it will say E. If you have a closed E, it will say eh. So that says B, and that says ben. Same with the I's, by, bin. Now, O's can be tricky, but open O's will always say O. Almost always. And it doesn't matter if it's accented or not. But closed O's, it will matter. But in the accented syllable, it will say bon. Now, if it's unaccented, it will say bun. And then we have our unit syllables, bold. See how it's saying O. And we have, if it's at the end of the word, the O will say O. U's are the same as the E's and the I's. It will say boo or bu, whatever the word forces you to say. And this will say but. This is the coordinating conjunction that holds words and groups of words together. Now, what's confusing for children or people learning the L's? And you need to get the ul sound like low, let, lie, lab, leg, log. And also P's are tricky. So you need to remember it's the lower. See how the stem comes down low? Because they get tricked up with the B's and the D's. But it also makes the P sound. But when you put it with the other letters, a lot of children want to say PU or a PA. So don't do that. It's just up on, slip, peer, gap, hop, poo. So anyways, I hope that was helpful for all of you out there needing to really get the alphabet down and understand what you need to be doing there. So we'll see you in the next lesson.